If I could comment
Justice.
on that, that was the case. If you go on our website, and I'm glad you brought that up, sc.ohio.gov allows you to see all the opinions for yourself. You can actually read the opinion word for word. You don't have to look at what the media tells you a case is about. That case has been given publicity in a way that it should not have, because we were looking at whether an officer could testify about his speed. We were not saying by any means that officers should not use radar, should not use technology. And we also did not say that just because an officer testifies about speed, that will lead to a conviction. What we did say was this was an evidentiary matter, and the judge or the jury decides, do we believe this testimony about speed or don't we? It's still up to the jury. You don't have to be relying solely on the officer. And the way that that case was portrayed in the media made it look like it was something it was not. Go to the website and look for yourself and see what the case actually says. That's the best way to find out about what the court is doing.
Well, do we have any other questions from the audience? Then we'll proceed with the final portion, and I have a final question for each of the candidates. This also by a drawing was decided that Judge Trapp would go first, followed by Justice Lanzinger. Although I have heard this phrase a lot, I'm not quite sure what it means. The phrase is judicial temperament. Would you describe your judicial temperament and how it impacts how your work on the bench proceeds? And again, Judge Trapp will go first. And would you come up here? It's 3 minutes each for the closing part.
Sure.
I think judicial temperament is something that develops over time. It starts with what's in your head and in your heart. And some have said that it's only with the heart that one sees rightly. But over time, through your education, through your training, from dealing with clients, from dealing on one side of the bench with judges and now dealing with attorneys as a judge, you learn about patience, you learn about diligence, about commitment to hard work, and commitment to justice. And I think in my background, my parents taught me the importance of hard work and of diligence and commitment. My teachers taught me that learning should be a lifelong endeavor that has real value. My church taught me about faith and about social justice and about charity. And the people that are most important to me in my life taught me that my reach should always exceed my grasp. That's my philosophy. And I think that is what judicial temperament is all about.
Thank you. And Justice Lanzinger, again, your comments on judicial temperament and how it affects your life on the bench.
Thank you. This is probably one of my most favorite questions, because when we have when we teach new judges, we talk about this very, very often. It's so important. It really depends upon the court in part, the judicial temperament, but the one thing that every judge needs to avoid, and we tell judges that all the time, you avoid the dread disease of robitis. That means that once you put that black robe on, you are not elevated to the Almighty. And even on the Supreme Court, we might be supreme, but we're not almighty. We need to understand that we are servants, that we are there for a purpose. We are not there for ourselves. And we sit in a position that is the people's position. And that is, I think, most important. Patience and courtesy to everyone is so important too. And I said a lot depends on the type of court that you sit on. When you're in municipal court, for example, you're dealing with people one-on-one, and many people at many times. And so you are truly the closest to the people. You're the face of the judiciary. When you are on an appellate bench, you're kind of removed and maybe in a different area, and you don't deal with people directly. You don't have trials. My opponent, for example, in reviewing other cases, doesn't have trials and deal with juries and with witnesses. That's a different type of judicial temperament that's needed when you are actually talking to people from the bench and you're assisting them in their cases. It's important to be knowledgeable. At the Supreme Court, we deal with death penalty cases, for example. Having someone who has the knowledge of that particular life and death type of case is so important. It's important to be ethical, above reproach in all of your activities. It's important to be a communicator, because as judges, we continue to teach in our position. It's important on the Supreme Court, above all, to be collegial. I'm one of 7 justices. It takes 4 of us to make any decision on the court, and you need an individual who can work well with others. I think all of these qualities are important. They're qualities that I have striven for in my 25 years on the bench, and I certainly hope to be continuing for another 6 years to serve in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice. Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we have been listening to a debate between Justice Judith Ann Lanzinger and Judge Mary Jane Trapp, candidates for Justice of the Supreme Court of Ohio. Thank you, candidates. Thank you, audience. This forum is now adjourned.